Hello. Today we see what is drafting wave and what are the factors that increase drafting wave effects and how we can control them. So, what is drafting wave? Let us understand this. Before we go to drafting wave, let us see what are the facts that we already know. We know that the fibers in the sliver that we feed are never of the same length and they are never straight or even oriented to the sliver axis. We also know that the nip to nip distance between any pair of rollers is always close to the longest fiber in the Beer-Sorter diagram. We have learnt that from the Beer-Sorter diagram we calculate the effective length, and that is what we use for setting our ruler pairs. So third point that we know is that most of the fibers are shorter in length when compared to the distance that is set between the ruler pairs. So with this background in mind, let us see what is the situation at any zone of any pair of rollers look like. So this orange fiber C is somewhat shorter than the distance that we have set between A pair of rollers and the B pair of rollers, which are back and front rollers respectively. And they have certain speeds V1 for the front roller and V2 for the back roller. And this is a direction in which the fibers are moving from A to B. So such fibers are in the floating state and not gripped. As you can see, the C is not gripped by any of the pair, and for a large amount of time when they move from input roller towards the output roller, they would be unguided. And what you can see from this graph is that back roller nip, this is the speed of C. What happens is when it is below the back roller nip, this would be the speed V2 at which it would be running, and when it will reach the front roller, B1 would be the speed for this particular floating fiber C. But in between this particular area, it would be running at an uncertain speed depending on which fibers have got more influence on this particular fiber. Uh, they move at a speed ranging from that of the input roller to the speed of the output roller, leading to a mass irregularity in the output sliver, which is known as the drafting wave. The irregularity that we see due to the drafting process, whatever irregularity is introduced is known as a drafting wave. It's a defect. So let us look at the pictorial representation of the floating fiber. Here at stage 1, what we see is a short fiber, which is the orange fiber shown here. It is below the in the nip of the back roller, and it will move at the speed VO. And as you go to stage 2, what happens is it will be released by the back roller nip, but it is still far away from the front roller nip and it is in a floating state. The fibers are surrounded by both slow moving and fast moving fibers. Slow moving fibers are the ones which are around it and are under the back roller nip, and the fast moving fibers are those fibers which are around it and are held by the front roller nip. So it will be under the influence of both these types of fibers, and therefore we cannot predict the actual speed of this particular floating fiber at any time. As we saw in the previous graph there, it would always be uncertain. So coming to stage 3, fibers have the short fiber would have or the floating fiber would have almost reached the front roller, and now it will be under the influence of the fast moving fibers as well as the roller nip here, and the fibers start moving at the front roller speed. So this would be the situation that this floating fiber would be in, right from starting from the back roller nip to the front roller nip. So the slow moving fibers try to carry the floating fibers at the back roller speed, and while the fast moving fibers would try to pull them or accelerate them out of turn. So this makes the movement of the short fibers very erratic, and this will lead to mass irregularity. So what is the effect of a proportion of short fibers on a drafting wave? It is quite obvious that more the number of short fibers, the defect would intensify. And so it is obvious that more the number of short fibers in the input sliver for a given setting, there is an increase in the irregularity, as a large proportion of fibers would then start to behave as if they are short fibers or floating fibers. So therefore, the process of combing, where we remove short fibers, this process tends to reduce the irregularity in the output sliver, and hence the combed yarn would be more even or regular as compared to a carded yarn. So what is limit irregularity? So let us understand that since we are not talking about ideal set of fibers or ideal drafting, so practically there is some amount of irregularity that is introduced into the output sliver in spite of having taken all kinds of precautions, because in a set of fibers that we feed, there will always be a variation in the length that we are feeding, and so some amount of irregularity will be there. So the mass irregularity introduced in the output sliver due to presence of short fibers in the input sliver is known as drafting wave. But there shall always be some minimum irregularity in the output sliver that can be expected, because the actual drafting conditions, as I have already mentioned, are never the ideal drafting conditions. So the minimum irregularity is called as limit irregularity. Therefore, the actual irregularity of the drafted sliver cannot be less than the CV given by this particular formula, where CV percentage limit is going to be 100 upon root n, where n is the average number of fibers in the cross section of this sliver. So whatever ideal conditions you may try to achieve, there's always going to be some amount of irregularity which is expressed as CV percentage here, which would be a limit, and it cannot go below this particular value. So reducing the amplitude of the drafting wave. So how to reduce the amplitude or the variation that you see in the unevenness, how to make it as low as possible. So before that, we should know what are the factors that affect it. So then we fix those factors, and then maybe we can take care of the defect and reduce it um as per the factors, controlling those factors. So what are the factors that we need to control? The first one is the draft. Second is the sliver fineness. Third, degree of parallelization, ruler setting, number of doublings. So each of these factors we shall see how we can control them one by one. Before controlling, we should see what kind of effects it will have on the drafting wave or the irregularity of the output sliver. So only then methods can be adopted to reduce the amplitude of drafting wave by controlling these factors here. So let us see how draft affects drafting wave. So this is a graph which is given, and what you see on the x-axis is the draft, and you see unevenness expressed as CV square of the output sliver. And let us look at this graph, and you have been given a relation between draft and drafting wave here, CV, that is, and it is given for coarse sliver as well as a medium and fine sliver. So let us just concentrate on one of the lines here, which is for coarse sliver. So what you see here is, as the draft increases, you keep on increasing the draft, you see that the um, drafting wave or the irregularity goes on increasing. The graph is moving in this direction. So each drafting process increases the value of the CV of the output sliver as compared to the input by a value which is root of A into D minus 1. Therefore, CV output you can express, as we have earlier mentioned, that CVs can be added if they are squared. So CV output square is equal to CV input square plus this factor which would be added with every drafting system that you add into the process. So CV input, whatever CV it would originally have, plus this is the CV that is introduced due to the drafting system. So both these would, when you add up, you will get the CV of the output sliver. So it means that as the draft value D increases, the CV of the output sliver will increase. So you can be very sure that when this D value will keep on increasing, this value will definitely increase. So this graph is correct. As you increase the draft, the drafting wave effects will be intensified. That means irregularity will increase. In the above formula, A is the slope of the line in the above graph. So A is the slope of this line. Now what you can see here, one more thing you can observe is that you have been given coarse sliver as well as fine sliver. No doubt both of them move in the same direction. That means as the draft increases, the variance or the drafting wave effect will increase, or the irregularity will increase. But when you compare these two, what you see is the effect is more for a finer sliver. That means when you use a finer sliver as in the input, what you see is the variance or the irregularity is increasing. So this is exactly what has been explained in the next topic of discussion, that effect of sliver fineness on the drafting wave. So during drafting, each feed sliver behaves like a number of independent slivers, and it gives a doubling effect within the slivers. Now imagine that we consider that each sliver, so we suppose we are feeding 8 input slivers, we consider each of them to be uh, to be doubling of small sub slivers within it. So these subslivers then would give an effect of doubling within each of the sliver, and therefore it is expected that it would reduce the drafting wave. The thick and thin places in the subslivers, that means the small slivers that we are imagining within each sliver, would compensate each other just like normal doubling, and therefore coarser the sliver. So now try to understand this. If the sliver that you feed is coarser by nature, then there would be more number of subslivers within each of the fed slivers. So more the number of subslivers, that means more is the number of doubling, and more better is the evenness of the particular sliver we are talking about. So as you can see, coarser the sliver that we feed, lesser is the variation because of the doubling effect. Therefore, increase in the sliver fineness leads to increase in the irregularity. So finer slivers would give you a higher drafting wave, or greater irregularity into the output sliver. So having seen these two effects, let us go to the fiber parallelization. What kind of effect does parallelization have on drafting wave? Increase in the parallelization leads to, we know already that smoothly it allows the fibers to slide past each other during drafting, and this leads to a decrease in the irregularity as compared to a sliver which would be less oriented or less parallel. It would be better to have a much more parallelized sliver so that you get reduced irregularity in the output sliver. So increase in parallelization leads to increase in the opening. This happens because uh, actually when you draft or when you parallelize, it tends to open the fiber hooks. We have seen in one of the lectures how the hooks are opened out, and they also become oriented towards the axis, and what happens is it will reduce the apparent short fibers. What do I mean by apparent short fibers? Let us try to understand. Whenever a fiber gets hooked on one side or both sides, or gets entangled, then what happens is apparently it will look like a short fiber because part of the fiber length has gone in the formation of the hook. So the fiber would seem to be shorter than what actually it is. But if you were to open the fiber entirely and keep it straight, then it would have a larger length. So it would be treated as a longer fiber. So when it is hooked, it is apparent short fiber, and such apparent short fibers would therefore increase the irregularity in the output sliver, because the drafting system would treat it like a short fiber even if the fibers once opened would be a long fiber. So therefore a reduction in the floating fibers. Once you parallelize them, there would be a reduction in the floating fibers, apparent floating fibers, and this would lead to a better um, evenness in the output sliver. So a reduction in the apparent short fibers reduces the irregularity. So coming to the next point, that is the roller setting, what kind of effect it has on a drafting wave. So looking at the graph, you see that at some point of the setting, the CV or the variation reduces, and later on it again there is a rise in the irregularity. So there is some point here that we should choose for our roller setting. We see that before this also there would be an increase in the irregularity, and after this particular setting there would be an increase in the irregularity. So what are the reasons for that? Since if the setting is lower than what effective length should give you, what happens is the longer fibers may break or even get stretched, and they tend to move in bunches. And when they move in bunches, it leads to undrafted sliver, which is known as spewing, and which would contribute to the increase in the drafting wave. That is the situation before this low is achieved. And if the setting is too wide, then all the fibers shall behave like floating fibers, because all the drafting system would look at it as if all of them are short, because the longest fiber would also be of the length lower than the distance between the drafting rulers. So all would be treated like floating fibers, and this would rapidly lead to an increase in the irregularity, which is seen by this graph. So what kind of setting should we go for? So therefore the setting is usually kept slightly above the effective length. So it would be somewhere here, which is shown by this blue line here. So whatever minimum CV you get, just slightly above that, if you keep the effective length, the drafting wave is found to be fairly in control. So effect of doubling on drafting wave. So this we already know, but some mathematical formulas we shall see here. Um, the individual feed slivers are drafted and are combined at the delivery end of the draw frame. The CV of the combined sliver is will always be equal to the individual drafted output sliver divided by root of n, where n is the number of doublings. So if you increase the number of doublings, of course the CV combined is going to reduce. So let us see what happens with this CV of individual slivers. But as the number of doublings is increased, we have already seen this concept. The moment you increase the doublings, you have to increase the draft to maintain the uh, thickness of the sliver that is being given. That is the output sliver. So, but once you increase the draft, if we've seen in the earlier slide in this lecture, that increase in CV will increase the output sliver CV, or the variation, by root A into D minus 1. And so our formula here becomes CV output for any input sliver would be equal to CV of the input sliver, which was already there, plus A into D minus 1, which we have seen earlier, this particular equation. So this particular equation, suppose I were to substitute in equation number 1 here, instead of individual drafted output sliver, I put this value over here. So CV output here means actually it is a CV of the output sliver, which is made out of the individual input sliver. So when I put this value here, that is CV of the output sliver would be root of this entire formula that is given here. So it would be root of this divided by root of n. So the combined the formula would be CV combined is equal to entire square root of CV input square plus A into D minus 1 upon n. So hence, as discussed earlier, the effect of draft and doubling, we already know they oppose each other, and the net effect on irregularity depends on the dominating factor. That means whether the CV will be influenced by draft and there is an increase in irregularity, or it will be influenced by the doubling that we are going to use to decrease the irregularity. So depending on which is the dominating factor that you have applied, whether you have increased the draft or whether you increase the doubling, so that will decide what will be the CV of the combined output sliver, which is also given by this particular formula. So increase in the doublings up to 8 is seen to reduce the irregularity. So that is why the reasoning that the number of slivers that you feed at a draw frame is around 6 to 8 slivers only. So in conclusion, now we can say that in spite of trying to optimize all the factors with an aim to reduce the drafting wave, that is the irregularity, there shall always be some kind of limit irregularity introduced in a sliver due to the presence of short fibers. Even after combing, you will find that there are some fibers which are shorter but natural. We are not removing all the fibers in the Beer-Sorter diagram. It would be highly uneconomical. So what we do is we remove only below a certain length, but the fibers which are just above those short fibers and manage to survive, they would also be somewhat shorter fibers, and then they will lead to some kind of limit irregularity which we are talking about. And what we are trying to say is, in spite of combing, there will be some irregularity that is always going to be there in the sliver. Also, in spite of controlling all the above factors, like keeping draft values optimum, increasing the number of doublings, keeping the coarser input sliver, keeping an optimum setting, and taking care of all of them, still you would find that there is some kind of irregularity in it. This is what we're trying to say. And therefore some attempt is made in designing the drafting system, which shall be our next lecture, where we see how the systems have evolved over a period of time and why they have evolved, keeping in mind all these background lectures, as to how the ruler arrangement has changed over a period of time, and how they provide better guidance to the shorter fibers. So thank you very much.